somehow not find the exceptional, right? Because you're limiting the entire board to a narrow swath of it. I would say this, though, in any player, no matter what position, and I'll get to catchers in a little bit, but you're looking, athleticism is the common denominator. I don't care what anybody says. And you can see these guys catching in today's game now. I mean, as low as you have to get to be able to handle things from, horizontally, and the break that they're dealing with, the late action because of the increased velocity and increased late action. I mean, athleticism is just always going to be the common denominator, no matter what position. Oh my God. So where you get into trouble a little bit, because you want to see an athlete behind the plate, is that a lot of catchers, because they've been catching, part of it can be slower and not run as well. And certainly a 60-yard time is some gauge in people's minds of some type of athleticism, right? To have the athletic coordination of your upper body and lower body to propel yourself for a longer sprint over the resistance of the ground is some degree of testing athleticism. And with catchers, you see a lot of guys that are very good, what I would call top half athletes. Oh my God. And they may not run and they may not whatever, but they better be flexible. Because, if I'm going out and some guy's sitting up high and whatever, I'm looking at him, this guy's not flexible enough to catch those fellas that we draft. And they start winging it in there, man. What's this guy going to do? He's 18 years old and he's wearing those things behind his knees and he's sitting up high. And come on, man, get away from me. This guy ain't catching for the next 15 years. Can't even handle it right now. So that's the thing for me, is that, athleticism is always important. Good athletes get better. They can improve. Good athletes can play when they get hurt a little bit. Right? They get hurt, they get tired, they get whatever. They can still perform and get better. And that's the whole thing of when you're looking at any player, and even as it relates to catching, you need a good athlete. Then from there, it is all defense. I don't care what anybody says. If you're looking to figure out who the catching candidates are, it's all defense. I mean, if you're going out to a field, and I don't know any of the players, and I'm watching them, but the guys that are wearing all this, chest protector and mask, whatever, I'm just looking at them defense. Mm-hmm. They can go hit a couple homers and do all the stuff they want, but if they can't catch and throw and handle themselves back there like a leader, then, or people don't feel like they have the intelligence or the focus on what's going on there to be, as Felipe Alou would call it, the assistant coach on the field, then they got no shot. And I'm sure there's plenty of catchers going, well, I hit 400 and I did this and I did that, and this guy got drafted. Well, yeah, he got drafted because he's in people's minds, a tremendous defender or a tremendous future defender. And that's all people want, right? The field's the same for everybody. If you play in the middle of the field, you got to play defense. Yeah. If you play in the corners, you got to stand on the corner, lean on the pole, right? You better be producing offense. That's how it works. And that's how people put a team together. And so if you're playing shortstop, center field, and I was just talking to one kid that, that I deal with in our company, and I told him yesterday, for him to get over the hump and to be what professional baseball scouts want to see, it's going to be his running and his throwing, that people can believe that he can play shortstop. And I said, now let's go through your routine of what you do during the day. I wanted 60% at minimum defense, 40% hitting the ball at the top of the cage like all you guys do nowadays. Okay? 60% defense. And for a catcher, it's probably even more. But here's the thing on catchers that they wouldn't even. The first thing I would do, because I would go around and watch maybe the top 125 players for the draft every year, guys that we had interest in the top rounds. And then whoever I saw that was later, maybe later in the draft, I'd see them too. And I could sit there and draft them and try to lobby for them, right? But I would go up to the coach. There's a lot of the college guys I'd know or whatever anyway, and I'd say, hey, tell me about your catcher. If I was there to see a catcher. So they'd start talking. And that's all I'd ask. Very innocuous question. If I didn't hear leadership, if I didn't hear toughest guy on our team, if I didn't hear is great with the pitchers and has a relationship with every pitcher, if I didn't hear that stuff, I just, oh, hey, thanks, coach. Good talking to you. Because if I have to ask, then we're looking at the wrong guy. Because that should be the first thing coming out of his mouth. Hey, guy, well, this guy's a leader, man. This guy cares about his pitchers. This guy's passionate about how they do. This guy knows every pitcher, and when they're in a bat where we need a ground ball and need a double play, he knows how they can get that. He goes to the mound when he's supposed to go to the mound. He knows them all. He knows when they're in trouble. He knows what to say. He knows who to be hard on. He knows who to be their friend. This guy is awesome. I can watch if he can catch. I can watch if he can throw. That's what I want to hear. And that's the thing for me, the catchers, I mean, they're missing the boat if they're not digging into that stuff, because that is truly their brand, right? I mean, talk about that in the book. What's your brand as it relates to getting a job? Well, it's the same way with the player. What's your brand? What do people say about you when they show up and ask? What's a coach say? Does he say you're a hard worker or you're a tough guy and you compete? You're a great competitor? Do they say that? Or they say, oh, you show up late every once in a while and, you know, we don't know if you're going to be at practice and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, you're building your own brand of what's going to happen later when some old fat guys are trying to make a decision on whether you can play in the big leagues or not. It is what it is.